Welcome back to Force of Will 101. Today's lesson, the chase. This is a system that Force of Will uses to determine how things resolve in a game when one player responds to another or attempts to play a card or ability. This is a system very similar to Yu-Gi-Oh's Chain or Magic the Gathering's Stack, but it uses its own terminology and has some of its own unique elements. We're going to be giving you a visual representation of how the chase is built and how it resolves. Whenever a player who has priority takes an action, that action goes on the chase. Things like calling a stone, drawing a card, or producing will with an ability or magic stone do not use the chase. Priority starts with the player whose turn it is, and is then passed back and forth as players attempt to respond to one another. A player with priority can maintain priority and attempt to take another action in response to their original action as many times they want before passing priority to their opponent, but it should be noted that nothing resolves until both players decide to not take any additional actions. As each step of the chase resolves, both players have a chance to add additional actions to the chase before the next step resolves. And once all actions of the chase have resolved, the turn player regains priority. Cards that don't have quick cast can only be put on the chase when the player has priority, during the main phase, and when the chase is empty. Cards with quick cast, and abilities of cards already on the field unless otherwise stated, can be put on the chase at any point in the turn, provided the player has priority. It works a little like this. After attacking, player A attempts to banish his Viola, seen here, in order to remove 2 Resonators from player B's graveyard. He has nothing else to put onto the chase at this time, and so passes priority to his opponent. His opponent chooses to respond by casting the card Ruined Story to target one of the Resonators that Viola is attempting to remove and return it to his hand. Player B has no additional actions they want to take at this time, and so passes priority back to player A, who also has no responses. Ruined Stories resolves and returns the Resonator back to player B's hand. Before the Viola's effect resolves, both players have the option to add more effects to the chase. Neither player chooses to do so, and so the effect resolves, and the Viola effect will remove the first card, the one not removed by Ruined Story, from the game. Then the chase is empty at this point, and player A regains priority, at which point they can take any action they are able to do. Here's a more complicated example. Player A attempts to summon a Resonator, and responds to that by attempting to play one of the abilities of the Resonator on the field. After choosing to take no actions, they pass priority to their opponent, who chooses not to respond to the ability of the Resonator. The ability of the first player's Resonator resolves, and then both players are given another chance to respond to the summoning of the Resonator. At this point, the second player chooses to play a card in order to attempt to cancel the Resonator being summoned. Before the cancel resolves, however, they pass priority back to the original player, who responds with a cancel of their own. Neither player responds to the original player's cancel, and so it resolves, canceling the attempt of the opponent to cancel the Resonator. The second player's cancel fails to resolve as it was stopped by the actions of the first player, and neither player wants to add anything else to the chase at this point. At that point, the Resonator resolves as neither player has had any additional actions they wish to take that would stop the Resonator from entering the field. The chase is a very complex part of Force of Will, with many layers and strategies, so I recommend practicing a little, watching some matches on the channel to get a better handle of it. That does it for this episode. Feel free to click the video on the screen to go to the next lesson, or click on a video in the playlist to jump ahead. Until then though, class dismissed.